Hey, this is Most Julius here with YAG Radio. We got a very, very, very special guest in the building today, and I have JDS Bleedo in the building from Chicago. How you doing today, my brother?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Julius? How you doing today, man?
Chilling, man, chilling, man. I'm glad you came to sit down and talk to me for a minute, man. So we're gonna get right into it. We got this on the radio today, so we're gonna get right into it, man. So once before you were a Hebrew Israelite, and you kind of found that spiritual path out of that. So what were kind of like some of the red flags, or like the way that you really got out of there?
Oh man, it was a lot of red flags when I first got in it. My wife, when I first went into the church that I used to go to, because I wasn't a part of a camp. You know, you got a lot of different camps like the ISUPK, and they consider themselves camps. I went to a church and it was called, titled the Israel of God. And when we first went there, me and my wife was like, "This a cult," you know what I'm saying? So that was the first red flag. But I didn't listen to that voice at the time. So I just continued to go there. I learned, basically the information that they was giving about the black people in essence being Israelites because of Deuteronomy chapter 28 about the curses, and they use that book basically to show from the fleshly perspective that we are the chosen people of the book. Right. And so I followed it for a while, but there was a lot of, like I said, a lot of cult-like behaviors. The elder there, he controlled everything. Everything went through him. It was another red flag. I went to a Passover or a feast day, and the Passover you do the unleavened bread or the wine, and they was pouring the wine in the cup, and I'm like, okay, 1, 2. I have my 2 children with me. 3, 4, and I'm watching them pour the wine. I say, y'all get wine to children here, and they was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, no, my children ain't about to. Right. That ain't about to happen. So, it was a lot of things that, I was seeing when I was in it that my spirit just didn't really agree with. And, for time's sake, I went along with it for as long as I could, but my spirit didn't bear witness in there. So I ended up, getting up out of there. For multiple reasons. Like I said, I can go on and on about the doctrines and so on and so forth, but basically my spirit just didn't rest there.
Right. Yeah, I definitely understand that, man. Especially with reading everything so literally, and that's like one of the biggest things of taking all these spiritual things, like, they're really like reading them as like literal days, and they're celebrating all these days. And in the Bible, even God says that I hate and despise your feast days.
I hate and despise your feast days. Yeah, stuff like that, and it's crazy because like where I come from is it's like Bible study class.
Right.
So like they'll do a lesson, and let's just say, I'm trying to think of a lesson. I ain't been there. Sound doctrine told by the prophets or something like that. And they'll basically go from the Old Testament to the New Testament, and they'll read verses like that. So like those type of things would stick out to me. Like, what does that mean? They won't really explain it. It would be in a lesson format. The thing that they would use is I ain't great with scriptures like I used to be, but I think it's Isaiah 8:20, I believe, where it talks about what might be another verse, but line upon line, precept upon precept. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Yeah. But that's how they would read the Bible. Like you got to take a little here, read a little here. So we'll be in Matthew, then we'll go from Matthew to the book of Isaiah, then from Isaiah
just jumping all around.
Man, we just jumping all over. So I'm like, when you start to learn like that, you just start to see little pieces of verses, and it just stick out to you. Well, why you grab that one, and what does that mean? And then like I said, I started looking at it more in context. Like this ain't even about me. Like that verse he just pulled out and was talking to an audience at that particular moment. It ain't talking to me today. So I had to learn, like I say, through my process, like one of the feast days that we went through was the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you have to take, the way they practice it is you have to take any bread out of your house, okay? Like if you got regular bread, pizza, whatever, you got to take it out. And I had just went shopping, okay? So I'm like, I got cousins, I got family members that go there. So I'm like, hey, so what I supposed to do with my food?
Right.
And they like, throw it away. I'm like, y'all got to give it to a neighbor or something. I'm like, nah, I'm not giving my food to no neighbor. So stuff like that, because they take it literal, they take a verse out of context. Like in that verse, I believe it's in Exodus, where he tells them to have no leaven in the house. If you keep it in context, it was for that particular that moment in a literal sense. Because like I say, I don't look at it. I'm like you, I don't look at it literal. But just on the literal surface, that was for that particular time period. So now somebody can take that scripture out and tell you it applies to you today and got you throwing bread out your house for a week.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, just read them literally.
The bread represents sin. That's what they told me. The bread. So I'm like, so wait a minute. So I'm gonna take the bread out of my house for 1 week that represents sin, but the rest for 51 weeks, I'm gonna have bread.
Bring it right back. Right.
So that didn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? So that those are some of the things. Like saying I can go on forever because it's a lot. But those are things that you be like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. So if you connected to God in essence with your spirit, you're gonna question those things.
Right.
You're not gonna get part of the crowd.
Right. I believe that, man. And I mean, that's definitely what I mean. It's no different. Like to me, it's a little bit worse than Christianity to me because they're like straight up like teaching the hate. Like,
it's way worse. It's way. I just told a brother when I was on Clubhouse maybe a couple weeks ago. He came out of the Christian church, and I'm like, man, they basically took the love and the spirit from you and gave you the literal fleshly understanding. Because I mean, Christianity got its flaws as well, but on the layer, it's not so carnal like that.
Right. Oh yeah, man. I mean, yeah, they take it a notch above that, man. Really.
Yeah. The Israelite movement is more. It's more fleshly because, like I say, once you recognize or once you believe or whatever that you're Israelite, you begin to dress like them. You wear fringes, you know. You don't get lineups, you know, shape ups. You know, it's a lot that go with it. You take on the customs, like you don't eat certain foods. You know, like in the Leviticus, I think is 11 or something like that. Like, so I'm bad with verses now, but it tells you what to eat and what not to eat. You know, they use a lot of those Old Testament principles, Sabbath day, the whole 9 yards, and they apply it to today. And they tell you that, you know, this is how you're gonna receive salvation by keeping these laws. But you know, and that contradicts the New Testament as well, because you know, when you get to the vine, you know, Christ says that I'm the vine and you could do nothing without me. So technically you ain't keeping the law. It's the spirit in you that's fulfilling the law in you.
Right.
You know, that's the part that they don't understand again, because they're taking everything so literal and they believe that they are those people. But it's a strong indoctrination, man. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It's a very strong indoctrination.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy. Like the things that they don't read literally is like mind boggling. It's like it's so many verses in there that tell you that it's not literally and tell you that these are spiritual meanings, but it's like those are the ones they completely ignore. And if you bring it up, then they don't even really want to talk anymore, or they're going to say that this is a book. Like the other day, I had one that brought up a scripture in Romans about Esau and Jacob, but a lot speaking about God hating Esau. But when I took that same verse from Romans about a Jewish being one inwardly, they don't want to talk about that no more. I never heard anything back from him. He never even said anything back after this.
They don't know how to respond to those things. They see that's the thing that I learned, you know, on my journey, because again, I used to be a debater, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I debated a lot of Hebrew Israelites, you know, because even when I was a Hebrew Israelite, I still was debating them. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it was. And a lot of times when you come with the spirit, we're not, you know, when I say we're, I'm speaking of like my past. We're not trained to understand that or go against that. We don't know what that is. But we're trained to basically, you know, at that time I was trained to attack the Christian religion, because we understand that they don't know the laws of Moses. Like, oh, they don't keep the Sabbath day. They go to church on Sunday, but the Bible says the 7th day is the Sabbath. So, you know, that's how they train. So when you come in, or like a person like me now that understands the allegories and the parables and things like that, when you come in, they don't know what you're talking about. You know, like a lot of times
it's a spiritual day, right? And it's a spiritual day. It's not even a physical day. And they sit here fighting over a physical day, Saturday or Sunday, having a whole argument about a day, and it ain't even about a physical day.
Man, you want to hear something funny, man?
Right, yeah.
my first debate, it might not be funny, but my first debate was when the day began. That's what I feel like the Creator had called me to understand, my true self. It was like Hebrews believe a day starts when the sun set. So from one sunset to the next sunset is when the day began. But the Bible, you know what I'm saying, and from the spiritual perspective as well, God called the light out of the darkness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So God, when he in the book of Genesis, and I look at it, like I said, I look at it more on the parable. I don't look at it like a literal creation story.
Right.
But when it says God said, let there be light, and there was light, and then it said he divided the light from the darkness, that was a separation. Right. So then he called the light day. and then he called the darkness night. So I'm telling you, and then it say in the evening, in the morning with the first day. This is what they argue. See, it say in the evening. Well, I'm like, bro, where the evening come from? Like
right.
you can't have an evening period without a day period. Right. So I'm like, the light is day. And in me arguing that, I learned more metaphysical principles about the light in us, because the scriptures say we are in darkness, or man love darkness more than he love light. So I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm reading these scriptures about when the day starts, but at the same time, I'm learning about the light that's within man. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, I think it's in Thessalonians or one of the books where it says, we are children of the day. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that right there, it made me see a separation. Like if they worship in the darkness, they worship at night. Right. They don't even know when the day starts. Right. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like they don't even understand that concept. And that's to me, and it's as small as it sounds, but it's big, because to me that's one of the greatest understandings, is to understand the light of the world, because that's Christ. Right. So if we are in death, the man that wandered out of the way of understanding remain in the congregation of dead, that's darkness. If we are in death and we looking for our day to begin, or our conscience or our light to begin, it has to be light. Right. It can't be, the light can't be going down and you like, oh wait, it's a new day. Wait a minute, bro. The day just ended. Right. And that's the crazy thing about it. Like we have a whole commandment from God in the Bible to be a light among the Gentiles. So we are supposed to be reflecting that light. And that's what they don't understand, that we have to fill with that light to show God's presence on earth. Exactly. And that's the part. And that's what I'm saying. So when you think about it, the Sabbath day, like how I look at it even now with Christ, saying that I'm, come to me and I'll give rest to your soul. Right. When you think about the Sabbath day, is a day of rest, or a day of light, a day of peace. And that's within, right? Mm. But when you look at the worldly Sabbath, is when the sun sets, so it's in darkness. So they go from one evening to the next evening. So when they coming into their darkness period, and they worship in that darkness, and they don't even understand that. Right. Yeah. That's the sad part. Yeah, that's the sad part about it, man. It's like you see that that God has given us understanding, and we're grateful and thankful, and the love that we have for people. It's not like I tell people this all the time. I don't want to. When I was younger, I competed. Right. I love competition. You know what I'm saying? Mm. But now it's like I want you to be my brother now. I want you to be on the same level. I don't want to be your teacher. I want us to be able to teach each other. I want to learn from you, and you learn from me. Let me grab some of that spirit you have through your journey, and you grab some of the spirit, and we uplift each other. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, man, a lot of people that's on the same tip. Like I call all of us light workers, people that's spreading good and spreading light to other people. And it's like a lot of them are in competition. Like I reach out to people all the time because I'm trying to build up the radio station and get it out to more people. But it's like a lot of people, if you're not already at a certain status, they won't even talk to you, even look your way. Yeah, but look at like me, I'm just looking out to build them, just to build everything up and get the word out to more people and spread this love. But I mean, it is what it is. The path is going to keep going, and it's not meant to be with certain people that you may think it meant to be anyway. So something bigger and better is always right around the corner. Yeah, I was about to say, like, think about it like the scriptures say, it say broad is the way that lead to destruction, and narrow is the way that lead to life, and it say few be that find it. Right. So, and me understanding that inwardly, it's like, because we are able to go within and we know that that's where God is, we're able to find that truth and that peace in that because we love ourselves. Right. But the other people that's outside of the gate, that's not in the city, you know what I'm saying? They don't understand that they have to love themselves first and foremost. That's one of the commandments, put no other gods before me. So those gods, from how I look at it, are other men or other powers. And when you putting other powers before God, which is the God that's in you, then you already breaking the commandment. Right. And that's all about your concept of God. Like if you giving your concept away to your God up here instead of that God inside of you, and that's another one, that swearing by the temple video I did. And I'm gonna leave a link in the comments on that for everybody that's on the radio station. Go to YAG Radio on actual YouTube. And definitely, man, we want to kick out your YouTube and where your music is, your music platform also. Yes, sir. So on my music side, I'm working on a project right now. I plan on releasing it late January is my goal. Okay. And I've been doing music for about a little bit over 20 years, man. I know I look young, I'm almost 40, but
Right.
I've been doing it for a while, and I always did like gangster rap. You know, I'm from Chicago, so I always did like the gangster rap. And when I started to go like to church and stuff like that, I kind of curved it. Well, I tried to curve it, but it didn't work for me because I didn't like it. I was like, man, I'm right near this is trash, man. I'm like, I don't feel it. So I'm gonna say around 2015 to 2016, I started to kind of get back into writing and recording the way that I used to record.
Right.
But now I'm on a higher level of writing now. So the music that I really want to promote and push will definitely be out in January. Not that I'm knocking anything I got out. Check me out. I'm fire. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like the music is good. But the music that I'm working on now, I'm more so it's coming more so from my inward man. It's more projected spiritually. You know, it's not carnal in a sense. It's carnal, but it ain't carnal. You get what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I got you.
It's more so trying to speak to your spirit. Like I can't think of no verse off the top of my head right now. I say something like the world shifted, but I'm gifted. So I'm trying to find a way to open up the portal to the mortal seeking better days. You see the killing, always on the gram. Did you see that picture? Well, I say, did you see that picture? Always in your face. Book, I call that tainted scripture. Zombie land. Cause I swear to God, I'm seeing zombies, man. Monkey see what monkey do. Guess that's why they only fans. Phone in hand. Reason why it's hard to hear a holy man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking like that.
Okay,
like,
yeah, I like that, man. I'm ready for that to come.
Yeah, I'm raising it up, and I'm not cursing. I'm not using I'm not saying nigga. No, I'm challenging my inward self to write some high frequency music. So that's more so what I'm really gonna promote. When I get to that layer, I'm gonna start uploading that type of music.
That's what's up, man. And you know, I'm gonna be ready to throw it right on Yag Radio right away. So
Man,
we definitely gonna have you back, man. I appreciate you coming to talk to me for a moment, but we definitely want to have you back real soon, and we'll get some more topics to kick. But what's your YouTube channel?
Right now my YouTube channel is you can link in on JDS Bleedo, JDS, and then Bleedo is he got it on the screen. I don't know if you see it, but it's BLEEDO, JDS Bleedo. That's the YouTube channel.
All right, man. We're gonna wrap it up, man. I appreciate you coming through. This is Yag Radio with Most Julius, man. We'll see y'all in a minute.
All right, cool. Peace, brother.
All right, bro.